Hey guys, this is Greg. Uh, I just learned about the Matt called yesterday and told me about the George Burns, Gracie Allen Mandela effect. I thought it was kind of weird because I knew, he asked me right off the bat, said, "Say goodnight, Gracie," and I said back to him, "Goodnight, Gracie." You know, I knew what to say. And that was just he just said it right off. He didn't even say, tell me about it yet. He just said something about say goodnight, Gracie, and I said goodnight, Gracie. So um, the thing is that there's a synchronicity here too, because last night I had to take my dad for a sleep study, and my dad's 70, so I thought I even told Matt, I said, this is kind of odd that I'm hearing this now. I said, so what I'll do when I take my dad to the sleep study tonight or last night, I I'm I guess I'm speaking as if I'm talking to him still, but when I was talking to him, I told him that I would when I take my dad to the sleep study that I was going to try this out, test this out because he's 70 and uh, he he's seen this show. You know, people don't understand. Back then there were three channels, you know, and even then it may not have even been three. If you watched TV, you watched whatever was on, the television at the time. It's not like now. Um, so anyway, I take Dad down there at 9 o'clock and I drop him off, and I go in with him and make sure everything goes okay. And as I'm leaving, I said, "Say goodnight, Gracie," and he said to me, "Good night, Gracie." So just found it odd that I'm taking Daddy to a sleep study the same day that I find out about the George Burns thing, which gives me the perfect opportunity to test this out. So, yes, my dad, afterwards, I explained to him what was going on. My dad said he knows for certain that he saw "Say goodnight, Gracie," and Gracie Allen says "Goodnight, Gracie." He even went as far to talk about Laugh-In, how Laugh-In used to do the same thing. So, uh, synchronicity plus, a confirmation of a Mandela effect, which I already knew that's what it was anyway. But just to test it, because my dad believes in he sees the Mandela effect. He knows that these things are happening, and he knows these things are changing. However, he's not on the other side of the conspiracies. He sees them as just theories rather than how we see them as conspiracy facts, as just flat out conspiracies. Um, just like that kid that supposedly had a 38 go through his brain and come out his jugular in Texas not so long ago, but yet that's faded in the background. I've not heard another word about that. Anyway, the kid gets a 38 through the brain to the point that he makes sure to tell the news crew that had it been off just a little bit in any direction, up, down, sideways, left, right, uh, that he would either be dead or paralyzed. And within a few hours, he's on his front porch doing an interview, and this is like mid-afternoon because this is another news crew, not the money shot interview that he did for CNN later that night, which was in the same. He's on the front porch of his own home. Okay. How does anybody with a 38 that goes through their brain manage to get out of the hospital, be released, and time for an afternoon interview with a news crew? And yet people believe that shit? However, we're crazy. Mount Rushmore looks completely different to me. Foreign. The Lincoln Memorial is completely jacked up. You know, I don't know. I don't know who. I don't even know who carved the thing, but they weren't paid enough. Have you seen it? Look at the hands. Look at the detail. Look at the leg. The pants, the way that the fold. No. That leg was pulled in, and those hands were over the chair this way. You didn't have one closed fist. You have them sticking out like that. To me, that's a Mandela effect. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I want to mention his channel because he decided to go looking around for large statues around the world, and there are a lot. And he's a small. I don't know if he's even a small channel. I don't know. It just popped up on my feed, but I think it's just a voice. Now listen, if you don't believe in the Bible or believe in Christian ways, don't go to that channel and harass him about statues and what he says, his commentary during it, because he's putting a religious spin on these things. He's not even putting a spin on it. He's just mentioning Bible verses while he does it. You don't go harass the man. If you don't agree with him, then don't go there. Maybe I shouldn't have even mentioned him. I don't know. But he goes through and looks around, and there are a lot of statues and things that are newer, recent. But there are things on there that I've never seen or heard of, and you can tell. They have a patina on them, so you can tell they're older. I never even heard of them. There are a lot of Hindu type gods statues all over the place that I've never seen or heard of. And as you would think that as much as people watch National Geographic or on here or whatever, and wallpapers and things, you would see these things at some point. But anyway, to get back to the synchronicity of it, just happens to be that I'm taking my dad, who can confirm the Gracie, the George Burns, Gracie Allen Mandela effect, to a sleep study. Perfect opportunity to just say this to him, which I said nothing to him about prior. To just say this to him and see what his subconscious says back, or what his memory, or what he says back. And it's Goodnight Gracie. So my dad's 70 years old. He remembers say goodnight Gracie, Goodnight Gracie. And my dad is one that if he doesn't believe in this, he'll tell you he doesn't believe in it. I mean, I've been fighting with him for years and years over 9/11, since it happened, pretty much. And even today, I can't. The Judy Wood stuff kind of helped a little bit with the dustification. He did see that, and he's kind of willing to maybe give me that much and maybe start thinking. I don't know. And Daddy, if you're watching, you know how long I've been fighting with you over this, but I didn't have to prod him to say Goodnight Gracie. I didn't tell him one word about this prior to, I mean, when I was walking out, I told him I would see him in the morning, which is today. Picked him up. And I said to him, say goodnight, Gracie. And he said, goodnight, Gracie. So, and then he also mentioned laughing, where it was, say goodnight, Dick. Goodnight, Dick. I just found it odd that the chance that I had the perfect opportunity to test a man's memory who's 70 years old, had just the perfect opportunity to test him. I hadn't even heard of this yet. Matt calls and tells me about it, mentions that Recall Vector has done a video on it, and I'll leave a link to his video in the description box. If you're not aware of this, I'm sure most of you probably are. So, alright guys, I just wanted to share that with you. It's just thought it was, nothing surprises me anymore. I don't, nothing surprises me anymore. Things align. Seems like things just line up perfect sometimes. Tammy and I, there are times when I'm texting, and as soon as I send my text, I get one from her. It's, boom, instant. And I mean, this is so much now that we hardly even say anything to each other about it. It's like same time, but this is so many times now. We never say anything about it anymore. It's not, we just, it's just one of those things. So, alright guys, just wanted to put that out there about testing the Gracie, the George Burns and Gracie Allen thing. I had a great chance to test the memory of a 70-year-old man who would have seen this, live, or at least at the time that it happened, that it was broadcast in real time. And not only did he remember that, he also remembered, Laugh-In's copy or parody of it. So, okay, alright guys, as usual, have a good one. Be good to everyone else. Oh, and one thing, if you're going out to eat, if you can afford to go out to eat, leave your waitress a decent tip, please. I'll give you a little advice. If you actually leave them a decent tip, if you give it to them before, when she's taking your order, or he or she's taking your order, if you give it to them then, you'll get a whole lot better service. But for me, it's not about that. It's about because they have to report it or don't report it or whatever. I don't know. I just know they only make like $2 an hour. I don't know if everybody even knows about that. If everybody actually realizes those people only make $2 an hour. Now, yes, you get bad service, of course. And I used to date a girl back in my 20s. Her dad would leave a penny if there was bad service. What a jackass. What does that do for you? As Matt would say, how many soul tokens did you just lose for that shit? I don't care, bad service or not. You don't leave a penny. Okay, well, anyway. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Be good to everyone else, please. Take care, guys.